Welcome back for the second instalment of the BRSCC Mazda MX-5 Championship. For the very first time, we're here at Pembrey Circuit and the weather is gorgeous. Now, we're focusing on the B grid here, and we've got Bryn Griffiths, who you know has been with us for the past few years. He's starting out on pole position, closely followed by Oliver Robinson in second position. Now, we've got 21 cars out on the grid and they're about to get underway, so keep watching and we're going to hand it straight over to Andy McEwan.
Thanks, Lyndsay. Well, this grid for the bottom half of the qualifiers after qualifying earlier on this morning. Bryn Griffiths just missing out on the A grid, but he gets the pole position for race 1B. Ollie Robinson alongside. Michael Nibbs and Thomas Jenkins are next, ahead of Nicola Doyen and Charles Mugglestone. Then Ollie Jenkins and Alan Hawkins. Richard Wotton and Graham Rumsey round out the top 10, with Chris Malloy and Joseph Wilmot next. Then Bruce Robinson and Jack Wilmot ahead of Clive Chisnell and Richard Bartlett. Christopher Ginn, Peter Lancaster, John Wood, Adam Tyrrell, David Rickards and Adam Craig, one to watch from the back of the grid, had troubles in qualifying. He is a regular A runner, starts off the back of the B grid today. There is Bryn Griffiths then, the blue and gold number 31 car launches from pole position. We're away and racing for the first time here at Pembrey. For many of these drivers, it will be their first racing experience here down in South Wales, so they'll be busy trying to learn the track and stay out of trouble, as well as trying to get into one of those 5 promotion positions, of course. And already it's kicking off down towards turn number 1. Bad start for Oliver Robinson, the 49 car from the outside of row 1. He's on the grass there, on board with Clive Chisnell, who's got cars to the left, cars to the right. Didn't get a great exit from Hatchett's Hairpin either, so he's going to find himself right in the thick of it going through the second corner at Spitfires. And the number 74 car, I think sensibly just trying to sort of stay out of everybody's way here in the early stages. That's the number 20 going up the inside of him there. That's Christopher Ginn from 17th on the grid. More locking up now towards the S's. Around the outside goes Alan Hawkins, the 722 car. 57 behind him is Oliver Jenkins as well. Lots of shuffling going on here, but Bryn Griffiths leading the way, I can tell you that much. 45 is Graham Rumsey there, the white, red and grey car. More locking up of the brakes down towards Brooklands. Lots of drivers maybe not quite getting enough heat into those brakes on the opening lap, or maybe just being a bit over-enthusiastic with them in the early stages. Griffiths with a big lead though, pulling away from, I think, Michael Nibbs in second position, having started third and taken advantage of the poor start from Ollie Robinson on the outside. That, I think, is Adam Craig. Yes, it is. The yellow number 29 car should make progress from this one. He had a decent qualifying result, but then has, for some reason, been put to the back of the grid. So Adam Craig, you would expect, will be up there towards the front, and it's important that he is, because the top 5 finishers from this race get put onto the back of the A grid for race 2, and you can only score the maximum 100 points for winning an A race. A B race is only worth about 50 or 60 points at most. So if you want to be a championship contender or in the top 5 in the championship at the end of the year, which Adam certainly does, you have to try and be in the A races at all times, really. Battle for second then makes its way down towards the S's for the second time of asking. That's Michael Nibbs in the no, it's not actually. Number 60 is Nicola Doyen, excuse me. 2 red cars together, just ahead of Thomas Jenkins. So Nibbs has dropped behind them, actually. Jenkins looking up the inside line now, through towards Brooklands. But Thomas can't quite get through. Thomas Jenkins has had a top 5 in a B race already this season. It was in the second race at Brands Hatch. That promoted him onto the A grid for the final race of the weekend. And he was able to get a 29th place finish. So not a bad day's work for Thomas Jenkins. As far as Nicola Doyen is concerned, he also had a top 5 finish at Brands Hatch, but that, frustratingly in a way, was in the final race, for which there is no promotion, of course, because it's the last race of the weekend. So Nicola Doyen will be looking to try and get promoted for the first time in this one. He's around the outside now of Thomas Jenkins down towards turn number 1. Sorry, Thomas Jenkins around the outside of Doyen, I beg your pardon, and locks up and will potentially lose a place as a result. On board with Bruce Robinson now in the number 90 car, and contact, that's Adam Craig. Oh no, Adam Craig gets turned by Joseph Wilmot, and Adam, who we thought would be able to get himself into the top 5, well, his top 5 chances have just taken a serious dint. So too is his car, I'd imagine, on the rear right corner. That, I think, is going to be Joseph Wilmot, who maybe has gone no further after that contact. That's a real shame, that, for Adam. He's now going to really have his work cut out even to get into the top 10, you would imagine, over the remainder of this 20-minute race. Meanwhile, for second place, I think they're still in the same order, aren't they? Yep, it's still going to be Nicola Doyen ahead of Thomas Jenkins, despite having started 1 spot behind him on the grid, actually. Thomas was 4th, Nicola Doyen was 5th, and they've both been able to work their way up the order a little bit in the early stages. Bryn Griffiths, having pulled away initially though, is being caught by those two. Look, there is Bryn Griffiths, the pole sitter. The two red cars, despite the fact they're fighting on the previous lap, were fractionally quicker than the race leader. However, they are continuing to scrap now as they go through the right-hand kink at Woodlands, down towards the final turn at Honda Curve. And if they really do hold each other up, then they've got no hope of catching the race leader. Under braking there, it's all going on towards the final corner. The race leader pulling clear now again on this lap. Yep, gap's gone back up again on that occasion as it's side by side once more for second place. Thomas Jenkins may be feeling that he's slightly quicker than Nick Ledoyen, and if he could get through, maybe he would be able to pull them towards the race leader a little more rapidly. The trouble is, to get through, he's got to pull off an overtake, and that's going to hold them up anyway, so the sooner he can get this done, the better. More sideways action there, and that is the number 87, was that, getting sideways through the 57, excuse me, Oliver Jenkins. And Oliver Jenkins on the tail of that battle in front of him. It's all getting very, very tight indeed. That's just outside the top 5 though. If you're inside the top 5 already, in a way, there's not much point taking too many risks because you're in a promotion spot already, and the top 5 cars have pulled away slightly from that 6th place battle that we were watching just now, so as long as they don't hold each other up, they should get promoted. Each position on track is worth 2 championship points though, so I suppose there's that to take into account, plus the fact that they are racing drivers and they want to finish as high up the order as they can, and they don't really think about those promotion and relegation spots until after the race is finished. Whilst they're out there in the thick of the action, they are solely concentrating on getting as high up the order as they can. Through the final turn they go again. There's the leader, Bryn Griffiths, extending his margin once more, I'd say, on this lap. We're certainly not losing too much time to them because they're going to be side by side again for second position, going down towards the Hatchett's hairpin at the start of the lap. And the outside once more goes Thomas Jenkins, but we've seen this before. He hasn't been able to execute the switchback, so now he thinks, I'll just try and go right round the outside. And it might just work, despite the fact he's on the grass. I think he had more traction off the corner. He's got the outside for Spitfires, but the inside line for the next 2 corners. And I think finally Thomas Jenkins is going to go through. Yes, he does. And Nick Ledoyen actually does well to get back in line there and shut the door before losing his 3rd position. So finally, the door is opened and Thomas Jenkins gets into 2nd. We'll see now whether he can do anything about Bryn Griffiths. Charles Mugglestone with a real lunge, and there's more contact and a spin there for, who's that that's gone around? Michael Nibbs, isn't it? The yellow car, number 82 of Michael Nibbs, has unfortunately rotated there. I didn't see whether he jumped or whether he was pushed, but Michael Nibbs, who was twice in the top 5 in the B races at Brands Hatch, had a 5th in the first race, got promoted to the second A race, and then got immediately demoted again into the B race for race 3, where he finished 4th. So he's one of those drivers who continually is straddling the A and B grid, and that's always really the target for these drivers in the B groups, is to not only get into the A group, but then stay there over the course of a weekend. Easier said than done though, as Michael found out at Brands Hatch, and unfortunately his chances of getting promoted in this race have just taken a serious knock. Charles Mugglestone is still in the thick of the action though, working his way now down the main straight, the Park Straight, with his little kink at the end of it just before you turn into the first corner. Goes up the inside of Oliver Jenkins, and he's going to go through. By the looks of it anyway, you can see how tight that is, one of the tightest corners in British motorsport. And yeah, through has gone Charles Mugglestone. Started 6th actually, so he's having to sort of work his way back up the order after a bit of a sluggish start maybe. But there he is, the black car with the blue highlights. Charlie Mugglestone working his way further up the grid. There's a yellow car behind him, which is the recovering Michael Nibbs. The other yellow car in the race is Adam Craig, and there I think I can see Adam Craig in the background, so he is continuing to fight back now after his various dramas earlier on. Mugglestone almost under attack again there from Oliver Jenkins in the 57 car. Jenkins looking to try and carry again more speed out of Brooklands and fight back again down the Speedway Straight, which, as the name will suggest, is the fastest part of, one of the fastest parts of the circuit. Down towards Honda Curve, or through Woodlands, then Honda Curve. And is there going to be an opportunity maybe here for Oliver Jenkins to attack again? He thinks there is. He's going up the inside into the final corner, and usually that's not an overtaking opportunity, but he was carrying so much more speed through the kink at Woodlands, it just sort of carried him up the inside, and once you get to the inside you can overtake there, but what you can't really do is come from a long way back and launch an attack. And well, Michael Nibbs takes full advantage of the loss of momentum for Mugglestone, and at the place at which Charles gained a place a lap ago, he's now going to lose 2 potentially, because Nibbs does go through. Charles tries to fight back though, gets a switchback manoeuvre begun on on the exit of the turn. He's up the inside through Spitfires, over the curb, a bit sideways. They both run out a bit wide, and the yellow car of Nibs has the inside line for the next two corners, so will be able to complete the manoeuvre. And Michael Nibs, number 82, fighting back nicely after the spin that he had down at this part of the circuit at the S's a couple of laps ago. In front of him, that's Nick Ledoyen losing another place, I fear, to... was that Thomas Jenkins going through? I reckon it was. So, for Nick Ledoyen, things starting now to unravel slightly. He's still in that all-important top 5 for the moment, though. That is what it's all about in these B races, getting those promotion spots and then scoring as many points as you can. Look at the lead gap, that's come down as well, hasn't it? So Thomas Jenkins, having freed himself from Nick Ledoyen, has been able to go after the race leader. In fact, I just said Nick Ledoyen is still in the top 5. He's not actually. That position he just lost was for 5th place. So Nick Ledoyen's lost a few more positions since we last checked in with him. We'll hopefully see the leaders soon. There we go. There are the leading two. Griffiths ahead of Thomas Jenkins. And then 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th is Ledoyen. So Nick Ledoyen really losing ground. Into 3rd is Alan Hawkins by the looks of it. And then 4th place for Ollie Robinson, I think that is. Yes, it is. There's yellow flags. Who's gone off? Oh, no, it's Jenkins. Thomas Jenkins has made a mistake from 2nd place. So having just been working hard to catch on the race leader and having basically caught the leader, Bryn Griffiths, that time around, he's then lost all of that ground at the first corner. Thankfully, those quick lap times meant that he pulled away from the 3rd place squabble enough that he was able to rejoin the track still in 2nd, but now has all of that hard work to do again to be able to catch the race leader. So Thomas Jenkins 2nd, and Ollie Robinson looking up the inside of Alan Hawkins there into the S's. Lots more tyre smoke flies from the pair of cars as they both scrabble for the apex of the corner. Alan Hawkins there, you can't miss that car in a crowd, can you? The multicoloured jigsaw livery making it really one of the most recognisable cars on the grid. So Oliver Robinson, the red and yellow car behind, is noticeable because it's going very quickly and it's really starting to apply the pressure now. Now this is Clive Chisnell. First time we've seen Clive so far in this race. Started down in 15th place in the BC Cars Motorsport Squad machine. The car run by Ben Short, and oh dear me, that was, oh no, contact! That's a big spin for Bruce Robinson. The barrier is dangerously close. He's now broadside across the middle of the road. Well, thankfully just off the racing line though, but that was a scary moment. But you have to say that Bruce sort of turned in across the front there really of Clive Chisnell, and has not done himself any favours really. So Bruce Robinson drops towards the back of the field. He should be able to select first gear and rejoin though. This, the fight for 3rd place, Oliver Robinson and Alan Hawkins going at it still. Hawkins in a podium spot now, will not want to throw this away. And of course if he starts rolling over and letting people through for fear of falling out of the top 5 altogether, well, he's probably going to fall out of the top 5 anyway, because they're all right there, aren't they? 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, and maybe even 9th place, nose to tail now in this long train of cars. Down towards Brooklands again, and we thought for a moment Oliver Robinson was going to go up the inside from a long way back, and so too, I think, did Alan Hawkins, because he outbraked himself and left lots of room on the inside, but then they both washed out wide and both lose momentum onto the back straight, and that could open the door maybe for Oliver Jenkins now to get up the inside. Yes, it has. Oliver Jenkins goes into 4th place because the knock-on effect of Hawkins and Robinson holding each other up held the next couple of cars up as well, and so it's actually the 57 of Oliver Jenkins that gains ground. Race leader Bryn Griffiths going past the back marker there, which had me worried for a second. Oh, spin and bang into the pit wall. And who is that? That looks as though it was, is that Chris Malloy maybe that's gone off? I think it is, the 21 car into the pit wall. People run over to check that he's okay, and oh, and what's happened to turn 1? Hawkins has dropped down the order now as well. It's all changed now. Oh, there's contact between Robinson and Robinson and the 45 car, that is, that's gone round of Graham Rumsey. So Graham Rumsey, who was in 5th, has spun. He rejoins, but well, everything happened then all of a sudden within the space of about 2 corners. We've lost Chris Malloy. Hawkins has lost ground. So too will have Graham Rumsey, of course, as a result of that. So what's that done now to our top 5 positions? Bryn Griffiths will still be leading, but well, Nick Ledoyen may now be back into the top 5. He's racing away here with Alan Hawkins, and I reckon Michael Nibs gained out of all of that as well. Hawkins a bit rattled now. He's getting sideways coming out of Brooklands corner. The safety car, unsurprisingly, is being scrambled, which is disastrous news for Bryn Griffiths because he had that nice little cushion over the rest of the field. But you can see why the safety car is required, because Chris Malloy's car is parked in a very precarious spot. out. I think he's okay, but it was a fairly hefty whack that he gave the pit wall there. Never nice to see a car spinning across the start-finish line and hitting the barriers, and the safety car will be scrambled. It's missed the race leader, but I think there's a back entrance there, you can see, or back exit from the paddock, which joins the circuit up by the S's, so he should be able to pick up this man, Bryn Griffiths, who's been your race-long race leader, really, and he will not be glad to see this safety car, but as I said, you can understand why it's out there. Now, what we need to try and do now is piece together the order behind, because it's all changed now. I reckon Oliver Jenkins is probably second place now, but Thomas Jenkins is up there somewhere, despite getting right in the thick of all of the action through Spitfires and DeBenny just before the safety car came out. Here's Charles Mugglestone. He is 6th by the looks of it, so Mugglestone on the fringes of the top 5. That'll be his target when the race gets going again, to try and break into that all-important top 5 and get a promotion spot for race 2. Chance now for the drivers just to relax a little bit, and I think they need that, honestly. It's been a very, very frenetic first 2/3 or so of the race. What more do you expect from Mazda MX-5 racing, I guess, and these B races where it really is a battle for every position, and when there's so much on the line with the tantalising prospect of being promoted to the A grid and racing with the big boys, then sometimes it can get a bit hot-headed, but very entertaining to watch nonetheless. Not so entertaining to see Chris Malloy spinning into the pit wall, but some of the other battling has been fantastic in this one. Charles Mugglestone then taking the chance just to wipe the sweat from his brow. He's opened his visor, look, to try and get some cool-ish air underneath the helmet, but it's well into the mid to high 20s ambient temperature here today, so it won't be particularly cool air that he's getting. Lights on the safety car as it picks everybody up then down the back straight. So I think, is that Thomas Jenkins in second place? I think it might be, isn't it? Yes, with Oliver third. So Thomas Jenkins is the red car. Oliver Jenkins, the white and red car. Then Alan Hawkins is still 4th by the looks of it. Yes, he is. And then there's someone else in 5th, just ahead of Charles Mugglestone, which is not Michael Nibbs. And there's Adam Craig. So the second of those yellow cars is Adam Craig. Adam Craig having started at the back, made his way towards the top 10, then got spun at turn 1 and has had to do it all over again. Well, he's inside the top 10 once more, and he is the man that this safety car benefits the most, because he now has a genuine shot at making it into the top 5, I reckon. So Adam Craig will keep an eye on him. The 2 yellow cars together. The first of those is Michael Nibbs, number 82, and the second one is Adam Craig, number 29. And Adam, therefore, I reckon, is in about 2, 4, 6, 7th-ish in the safety car queue. That's definitely doable, isn't it, to get into the top 5? And then from there, he ought to be able to make further progress up the A grid, because last time out at Brands Hatch, he was on the A grids all day long, had an 11th in race 1, a 9th in race 2, and another 9th in race 3. So he's got top 10 pace in the A races, just needs to try and get himself there first. The recovery process ongoing now. It should just require a simple tow out of the way, no need really for the flatbed truck. As they do that now, get that car out of the way, and hopefully that means we will resume racing once again. Look at the smoke though from that car, bodywork rubbing on the tyre even at that low speed, I guess. We have to assume was contact from behind to spin Chris into the wall. And Richard Wotton, I notice, also stopped on that lap. Now, I don't know whether that was related to that or not, but would they have been anywhere near each other on the track? Well, they started only a couple of places apart, so it's very much amateur detective work at best, but it does sort of suggest, doesn't it, that maybe the two are linked. So through they all come. That's Nick Ledoyen, isn't it, that's in 5th position then. So it looks like it's Bryn Griffiths leading, Thomas Jenkins 2nd, Ollie Jenkins 3rd, Alan Hawkins 4th, Nick Ledoyen 5th, Charles Mugglestone 6th, 7th then for Michael Nibbs, 8th is Adam Craig, and then everybody else sort of filing in behind. Graham Rumsey, I think that is next, isn't it? So lots of potential storylines to follow here. Graham Rumsey trying to work his way back into the top 10 after getting tangled up just now before the safety car came out. Michael Nibbs himself is recovering from a spin at the S's. Adam Craig recovering from a spin at the first corner. And it would be great if either or both of those could get into the top 5. Alan Hawkins has survived his fare of dramas as well, and he's in 4th place at the moment. There is confirmation that it is the number 60 of Nick Ledoyen that rounds out the top 5. Nick will really want to try and hang on to that if at all possible, but I think there's plenty still to shake out here. The lights are out on the safety car, so we're going racing this time. And how heartbreaking would it be for Bryn Griffiths to lose this victory, because he's driven really well in this one, has Bryn, and he's now got to try and negotiate a safety car restart, but Oliver Jenkins and Thomas Jenkins behind. Well, we saw Thomas was catching him before he had that moment just before the safety car. The safety car coming out has now close the gap back up, but it's a really good restart for Bryn Griffiths. A couple of them not quite on their toes. Alan Hawkins guilty of that as well. So the leader pulling away, and then second and third are together, and then another big gap back to Alan Hawkins in fourth. Across the start-finish line we go then, and the pair of Jenkins are side by side. That's Oliver up the inside of Thomas for second position, and he's going to surely make that stick. Under braking for the Hatchett's hairpin. Thomas really needs to get back in line. Oh, Mugglestone up the inside of everybody, trying to go to fourth place. Adam Craig is in there as well, so too is Michael Nibbs, and Nick Ledoyen. Poor old Nick Ledoyen gets elbowed out over the grass and drops 3 or 4 positions. There's more carnage, unfortunately, and that is Jack Wilmot, number 80, who's gone around. So Jack Wilmot does not survive the restart in one piece, but Bryn Griffiths does. Look at the lead that he's got now over Oliver Jenkins, in second, Thomas Jenkins third, Hawkins is fourth, and Michael Nibbs is fifth. So Michael Nibbs fifth and Adam Craig sixth. They're the 2 yellow cars on your screen now. Adam Craig from the back of the grid, and he's had a spin in this race. He's been from the back to the top 10 twice. Can he now get into that all-important top 5? Well, if he can, it'll be at the expense of another driver recovering from a spin, Michael Nibbs, unless, of course, they can both get past Alan Hawkins. I thought there'd be plenty of shuffling. Charles Mugglestone, I think, sort of instigated all of that on the restart down towards the first corner when he went 3 wide up the inside, and there simply wasn't room for all of them, and it was poor Nick Ledoyen on the outside line who ended up plummeting down the order. Is that Craig up the inside of Nibbs, possibly, or was it Nibbs going up the inside of Hawkins? Either way, the 2 yellow cars are side by side now down the pit straight. I think this is Adam Craig about to go through into 5th position as we go on to the final lap of the race. Bryn Griffiths less than a lap away from a victory, but they're 3 abreast here for 4th position, and Adam Craig has done it. He goes up the inside of both of them. So not only does he get past Michael Nibbs, but they both get ahead of Alan Hawkins, and Hawkins at the start of the final lap is now out of the promotion spots. Charles Mugglestone here is in 7th position, and he's not quite given up on a top 5 yet either. The top 3 can sort of afford to just run it now to the flag in the order they're in. They don't need to fight each other too much because they're all going to get promoted anyway. It is all action though for 4th on bat, because that is where the promotion line cut-off is. There are the 2 Jenkins. Thomas still ahead of Oliver. Are they catching Bryn on this final lap? Maybe fractionally. I don't think they're quite going to get there though before the flag. What is going on for 4th though? That is the big question. Adam Craig had it the last time we saw him with Michael Nibbs in 5th. Is that still the order, or has Alan Hawkins been able to find a way back through? No, he hasn't. So it's still Craig with the black stripe down the front of his car, then the all yellow of Nibbs behind. But it is all really about Bryn Griffiths, because he is about to take his first victory of the season. It may be in a B race, but he'll take the checkered flag anyway and becomes the 4th different B race winner of the season so far. Bryn Griffiths with a dominant victory takes it over Oliver Jenkins 2nd, Thomas Jenkins 3rd, Adam Craig 4th, and Michael Nibbs just hangs on to the final promotion spot in 5th after a frenetic final couple of laps after that safety car. Got a feel for Alan Hawkins, who was in a top 5 position all race, but ends up finishing 6th and misses out on promotion. So it's Griffiths, then Oliver and Thomas Jenkins on the podium with him. Adam Craig and Michael Nibbs round out the top 5. Then Alan Hawkins, Charles Mugglestone, Nick Ledoyen, another one to drop down towards the end. Then Clive Chisnall and Graham Rumsey. The list of retirements, unfortunately, is fairly lengthy. Peter Lancaster, Joe and Jack Wilmot both retired after the restart. Chris Malloy brought out the safety car in the first place when he spun into the pit wall, with Richard Wotton the early retirement as well. What a great race that was, though. Drama.
Well, this is not just a congratulations, this is double congratulations. First win.
Yep, about time. But yeah, it was. I just got a good start and then kept away really. So that's all I needed to do. And yeah, my car was nearly written off at Brands Hatch. So this win is dedicated to the people who put it back together, which is NHA Motorsport and in particular Paul.
Amazing. Congratulations on coming second, Ollie, but not just that, you managed to get the lead on your brother.
Yeah, it was a close race, and the safety car helped a bit because Tom made a mistake when it went into the pit, so I managed to get him into the hairpin first corner, so yeah, it was good.
Tom, that was a fantastic start for you, but your brother did get the pip on you when the safety car came out.
He did, yes. So I'm going to never go here at the end of it now, and to be honest, you can probably buy dinner tonight. Fish and chips is going to be my recommendation.